always hard acts to follow, and it's certainly a hard act to follow right there. Correction before I start talking about Donnie MacAulay. Frank Corbett was a valuable member of the French Club slow pitch team, which Lowell Conner tried out for. Now I'll start talking about Donnie. Donnie's first success playing sports was in the 1950s with Little League Baseball, when his hitting ability helped lead the Cubs to the Waterford Little League Championship. Now people say, oh, big deal, Little League Championship. But back in 1955, in the early 60s, Little League was like the World Series down here. Like everybody played in their neighborhood, and Donnie was with the Cubs and the Braves and the Pirates up 12. And if you won the Little League Championship, man, as an 11, 12-year-old, you were feeling pretty good. Now the next one I want to talk about as far as Donnie in the sports. When we decided who was getting in the Hall of Fame, Lowell talked about the 46 Strands. And I assumed right away it was a basketball team, but then I found out it was the hockey team, that was fine. And then when I was agreed to do Donnie's address, all of a sudden he's in minor hockey, which totally shocked me because I know he's a ball player and a basketball player, but minor hockey. He made minor hockey in town. In his first game, he registered 2 assists in a 2-2 tie. This turned out to be the only game he played in minor hockey. Okay? So his career stats are 2 points per game. Crosby doesn't do that. Okay? According to Donnie, he quickly learned that winter mornings were much warmer inside the cozy confines of Calvin Hall rather than outdoors at St. Agnes Rink. Now the funny thing about this, St. Agnes Rink was right across the road from where Donnie lived. If he fell down in his front yard, he hit the boards at St. Agnes Rink. Now Dave tells me he quit playing minor hockey because his father wouldn't drive him to the rink. So I don't know which one is true. But anyway, hockey's loss was basketball's gain. He began his basketball career playing in church leagues at various venues throughout Cape Breton. He admits to not having much skill initially, and in fact he was a few inches taller than his teammates. May have been the only reason he made the team. That's according to Donnie. The Calvin team, and Duncan Roach likes to hear this stuff, the Calvin team was quite successful and eventually became the nucleus of a very strong Central High School team. At Central, Donnie's skills blossomed thanks to Coach Red Bob McDonald, allowing the boys endless hours in the gym. Donnie helped Central to the Nova Scotia Headmasters Basketball Championship in 1960, and later that same year played fullback and took penalty kicks for the Central soccer team, helping them to the first Headmasters Provincial Soccer Championship banner for this town. In 1961, Donnie played a pivotal role for the Central High team, which won the Canadian Juvenile Basketball Championship. He scored 89 points in 3 playoff games, and this is before the 3-point shot, so he did okay. During the spring of the previous year, Donnie picked up a discus, and everybody doesn't know what a discus is. It's a track and field event where you have to throw this thing. Something he had never seen before. And started to practice throwing it. With some pointers from then phys ed teacher Don McVicker, he learned quickly, and after some practice the following year, he went to an Eastern Canadian track and field meet in Halifax and set a maritime open record in the juvenile division. This is something he never did before. He just picked up on his own. 1963-64, he became a valued member of the Waterford Strands basketball team, with whom he played for 10 years, helping them to a number of provincial maritime titles, including the 1969-70 team, who were recently inducted into the Cape Breton Sports Hall of Fame. He also participated in the first Canada Games in 1967 in Quebec City as a member of the Nova Scotia basketball team, which won a bronze medal. I'll also add that George Jules was also on that team and also on that 69-70 Mount Carmel Strands team. Going back to the ball diamond, Donnie began playing softball in 1959 and had many successful seasons with the 10 Pennies and later captained the Scottsdale Raiders, who won several provincial and maritime titles during the 60s and early 70s. Donnie played shortstop and was one of the top hitters on the team. Following his transfer to Halifax in 1973, Donnie continued to play fastball and some recreational basketball. He eventually became involved in slow pitch and enjoyed a lengthy career in that sport. As a point of fact, Donnie's softball playing days, which began at the age of 16, spanned part of 6 decades before he hung up the spikes at the age of 64. During the slow pitch stage, he played as many as 120 games per summer. One of the highlights of his slow pitch days was leading a Halifax team to a maritime title in 1996. He compiled a record of 7 wins, 1 loss, while going 25 for 30 at the plate, an 833 average. And as Lars likes to say, or Lyle, he was also a vacuum up the middle with his glove. Needless to say, his efforts earned him MVP honors. An interesting sidebar to this accomplishment was that Donnie was nearing the age of 53, while none of his teammates had yet to reach the age of 30. So Donnie's a little older than the rest of the team. Donnie says the real highlight of his slow pitch ball was playing co-ed ball with his 2 daughters, Karen and Lisa, for about 15 years, with considerable success in league and tournament play. Later in the year, Donnie started to play some golf. In his first full year playing, he scored a hole-in-one. He followed this up with a second hole-in-one in 2005. He suggests, not me, the fact that he's playing golf about 120 to 140 times a year may have increased his chances. Donnie continues to play golf, but has cut back to about 40 or 50 times per year. And just one quick golf story. Every year we have the St. Agnes versus Central golf match between myself and a friend of mine from Halifax, and Donnie and Dave MacAulay. But anyway, one year Dave couldn't make it, so Donnie called me. He said, I got another chap from Central. I said, oh yeah, who's that? He said, George Hughes. So sure enough, George filled in, and I wouldn't tell you who won that day, but the Saints were smiling, I'll tell you that. Where am I at now? Oh no, I know it's not the end of the career, but in June 2014, Donnie had successful hip replacement. So currently he's waiting patiently to get back in the golf course and resuming an active lifestyle. Now there's a rumor out there that he might don his skates again, and I hope to God he doesn't, but he's talking about it. Mike Campbell's looking for another defensive partner there. And I think the goal is to get into the Vitrine tournament next year. So Andy Hines, wherever you're at, don't let them in, okay, please? Okay? In closing, just a quote that was in the Community Press last week, written by Gady Vaux. It says, a remarkable career for a remarkable athlete and person. A winner in every sense of the word. That's Donnie MacAulay. I'm really pleased to welcome Donnie MacAulay as a member of the Waterford District Sports Heritage Hall of Fame. Welcome, Donnie.
Hurry up, buddy, hurry up. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. I'm a little shaky up here. I'd rather you guys and 200 or 300 other people see me standing at home plate with a bat in my hand or at the foul line with a basketball in my hand. But tonight I'm not really looking or feeling very athletic, but 5 weeks tomorrow since I've had my hip replacement surgery, and as Mike said, I expect to be back on the go sometime in the near future. And I've been thinking over the last little while about my hip's been bothering me for a good many years, and I was thinking about where it may have originated. And I look out here at my Scotchtown fastball teammates, and I'm thinking maybe going deep in a hole to scoop up a ground ball, or else digging in and taking an extra base from time to time. It's probably started there, because I doubt any of my Strands teammates would think I hurt myself hustling back to play some defense. But in mentioning those two sports, a lot of the credit for my success goes, I think, to former coaches, mentors, and teammates, people who didn't clutter up my head too much with defensive strategies and complicated systems and special plays. They kept it simple for me. On the ball field, the advice was, hit the ball, MacAulay. And in the gym, it was, put her in the hoop, MacAulay. That was pretty simple for me. I enjoyed that. Not too much thinking involved there. But seriously, though, I'd like to extend special thanks to the Sports Heritage Committee for all their work that they do to preserve our history. Whew. And for making me part of it tonight. And it's I'm honored and humble. Whew. Sorry again. I'm not quite finished, but to be inducted with this fine group of individuals, Charlie Pyle, whose legendary career I heard a lot about as I was growing up, Billy Burns, whose accomplishments in so many athletic endeavors are a testimony to his talent and ability, George Hughes, a multi-talented athlete, former teammate, and Central High grad like myself. Yay, Central. But mostly, especially to be inducted. Whew. At the same time, as a dear friend and teammate, Gary McDonald, who's another multi-talented athlete, visionary, whose legacy will be part of the fabric of this town forever. Thank you.